Hello and welcome to a very festive StudyTravel news video. I'm Bethan Norris.
And I'm Jenny Fennelly, bringing you the latest news stories.
The headlines this week: decrease in students but increase in tuition value for New Zealand.
English UK calls on new government to support ELT.
Canada rolls out biometrics to in-country applications.
And much more, including a partnership for Pearson and Shorelight, Oscars International, British Council International Education Conference and UED's awards.
But first up, the number of international students in New Zealand decreased by 6% to 117,000 in 2018, according to data released by the Minister for Education, Chris Hipkins, this week.
Yes, but the value of tuition revenue increased to 1.16 billion New Zealand dollars, an additional $960 per student, the minister said. The tuition revenue is based on a 7% increase in university enrolments, making it the largest sector.
In contrast, there was a decrease in the private training establishment or PTE segment, which Minister said was partly attributed to the removal of some low-quality providers, with 16 involuntary closures since 2016.
There was also more of a regional spread last year, with Auckland's share decreasing against increases for Canterbury and other areas. Growth markets in 2018 included France, Nepal, Thailand and Vietnam.
Back to the UK next, where ahead of the general election taking place this week, Language School Association English UK has released a manifesto of steps it would like to see the government take to support the ELT sector.
The association calls on the incoming administration to ensure visa-free study travel for students from EU countries and continue ID card travel for EU teenagers coming for short courses.
English UK would also like to see a light-touch short-term student visa for students to be able to apply for a further study visa without leaving the country, and the return of part-time work rights for language students.
International students applying to extend visas in Canada will now need to provide biometrics at one of the collection points across the country, the government has announced.
The extension to citizens already in Canada is the final phase of Canada's biometrics programme. The government said following the implementation of the requirement for fingerprints and photographs across most world regions, students under 14 are exempt from the biometric rule.
And now for a roundup of some of the other news stories this week. US-based pathway provider Shorelight Education and Pearson have signed a partnership to offer the PTE academic exam as a test option across all of Shorelight's pathway and partner university program options.
Another manifesto in the UK next. As Independent Higher Education, the association representing private sector tertiary providers, has issued a list of measures that it says will support small to medium enterprises in higher education.
UK higher education providers have been urged to develop international relationships that are not limited by the changing nature of global politics and economics, as well as to understand how to market their services to Generation Z and get the most out of agent partnerships at the annual British Council International Education Conference last week.
Ireland-based ELT provider Oscars International has announced a suite of new academic programs for juniors and adults in partnership with sister institutions in the City Colleges Group.
US-based America Education has announced the addition of a campus in San Francisco to its high school portfolio in partnership with boarding schools St. Patrick, St. Vincent Catholic High School.
Britannia English Academy in Manchester, UK has expanded its capacity with the addition of a new floor and classrooms.
Turkish Agency Association UED has announced the winners of its annual Agency Awards of Turkey regarding partner language schools and voted for by directors of member agencies. Congratulations to all the winners.
More on all of those stories online, as well as photos from ST Korea and a 15th anniversary celebration for Celtic English Academy.
Thanks for watching and a very Merry Christmas to you all from the StudyTravel team.
Merry Christmas!